Oh, my bad. So, Wednesday, tons of news. Let's get into it. Yeah, I was doing some using my screen to do a lot of audio and stuff like that, so. Should be good now. I should not be muted anymore. So, we are going to be getting into every weight class, most weight classes, not every weight class, but most weight classes, we're going to do it. I don't know if you guys watched the Wilder Fury press conference. Pretty typical at this point. I mean, I didn't see anything special there, other than Wilder actually talked, you know. Fury was witty, as always. Nothing too crazy, you know. Didn't even have a face-off. Bob, what the hell? So, anyways, let's take a quick peek at some news. Let's start off, the lightest weight class with big news. I know Wilder did get a little heated at the end. Obviously, but he knew that Fury was going to do that to him. It was nothing special. It's like if you've seen their other pressers, it's like the same thing. It's like the same thing over and over again, almost like to a T. Fury looks like the much more well-spoken, more witty individual, and in return, Wilder is Wilder. So it is what it is. Yeah, constant noise in the last 5 minutes. Yeah, nothing big there. Nothing big there in terms of press conference. Fury wore a suit that looked ridiculous. Wilder wore like tracksuits, Pretty much what you expect. So, all right. Just because of the suit Fury wore. His suits are pretty legendary. Not something I would try to pull off or that I would wear. But then again, it's Tyson Fury. That's part of his stick. Exactly, Shrek. All right, first story we're going to start off lightweight division. Bill Haney wants Gervonta Tank Davis versus Devin, obviously, for a future clash. Now, I think the fact that we even have Haney's father saying this, who's his trainer, Oh, I'm streaming on Twitch, YouTube, and Trovo. So I'm on all three platforms. That's why the chat, as you can see, is mixed right now. Mostly a lot of it is Twitch, and then Conor McGregor 69, which is Shrek, is on Trovo. So for me, this I understand. I understand you're trying to promote this. Eventually, this is gonna happen. If it continues, the big thing here is Devin Haney is fairly decent size for the lightweight division. So him moving up, I absolutely think could happen. And I don't know if Bill Haney's just saying this or not, but Tank Davis is probably not going to go up. If he's going to go up to another weight, maybe 140 if we're lucky again. I doubt he'll ever do that. I'm sure they're going to try to keep him more at 135 or 130. That's where he's going to be. Haney, I don't see fighting Tank. Although I do think Devin Haney, with his jab, could do pretty decent. I actually think he'd do pretty decent against Tank. That said, Tank hits a lot harder. Like, a lot harder. And yeah, the press conferences would be pretty funny, I think. Tank Davis, I think, it's quite the character. So let's talk about Tank, because now that we're talking about it, everyone I think already knows this already, though. Nothing new. I don't think I'm, breaking news on anything here. And that is Tank talking about now tweeting out and kind of making semi-official that he's going to be fighting Rolly. And the thing is, what's weird about Sunday, that's weird. You know, the thing is, Rolly brings really nothing to the table. Like, Rolly really doesn't bring anything to the table. Tank Davis is just going to mow him down. I love Tank Davis, too. Tank Davis is a great fighter. He is gone from just being kind of a big talker, good knockouts, to something pretty special, actually. I'm a big fan of him. He's shown so much more depth to his game. And I've had to see, like, now that I've seen that a little bit more. After that Gamboa fight, I was like, I don't know about this kid. But now I'm a big fan of Tank. As long as he can keep his weight proper, stays the hell out of fucking Baltimore. Anytime Tank's in Baltimore, he gets in trouble. So stay out of Baltimore. Or make sure he doesn't stay out past midnight. I saw someone kind of tweet, "Oh, this will be fun. They're both hard hitters." And I'm thinking, when you say hard, they're both hard hitters, are you talking about each one of Gervonta Davis's fists? Like, is that what you're talking about? Because Rolly doesn't hit that hard. Rolly is not that hard of a hitter. You know? Yeah, he goes, yeah, see? That, I mean, you know he's not going to get much. He had 17 accounts, though. So, Rolly I just don't think Rolly hits very hard. I would say, actually, probably Tank's last fight was the probably hardest he's been hit in a while. Especially at 140. I'm probably saying that was probably the hardest he's been hit. In obviously in an official fight, sparring aside. Leo Santa Cruz, Leo can throw pretty hard, but Rolly is just like, he's going to be easy work for Tank, in my opinion. He's going to be easy work for Tank. Now, this is a good thing, though. This is a good thing for Tank in a lot of ways, because this shows that he's staying active. You know, he's not taking long layoffs. This is definitely a keep busy fight, right? And it's a good way for him to get a good highlight reel. Keep relevant, because December 5th, right? That's what they're talking about right now. Right? December 5th. You know what else is happening that same month? Like a week afterwards? I don't know. Everyone's talking about the Tank fight, but no one's talking about this fight. And I'm just kind of like, this is also a really good, this is actually a better fight. In the same division, happening in the same month, and no one's talking about it. Vasily Lomachenko versus Comey agreed to terms for December 11th to fight in New York. We get to see Loma now take on another fighter that has fought Lopez. And this fight right here is a more interesting fight than the Rolly Tank one. I will say that Tank is probably the most electric lightweight there is, though. You got to give that kid, in terms of like, you know, one punch, serious power, you got to give that to Tank. Loma is just a technician. And so this is going to be a really fun fight to watch. The one criticism I have against Comey, I like Comey, actually. Comey's a good fighter. He's a good fighter. He has one element to him that I don't like. And it showed up pretty quickly in the Lopez fight. And that was, Richard Comey has good reach, but he doesn't use it to his full potential. Actually, that's a really good fight as well. That's actually Figueroa versus Fulton fight. Yeah, that is also an underestimated fight. That's a very good fight. Richard Comey doesn't fight long. He fights a lot closer in and more medium range than he should. And I said, actually, way back in my fight prediction video for that, I said that he needs to fight long and he needs to utilize that reach, because Lopez gets in there, and if he lands, it's problems. White versus Valine. Oh, gosh. It'll be an interim title. Oh, God. I'm so done with those. Hey, as long as Dillian White's keeping busy. But Richard Comey is a very solid fighter. I think people are sleeping on him because of the Lopez knockout. He gave Robert Easter a hell of a good fight. Arguably won that fight, and Easter has a phenomenal jab. So I'm actually very intrigued by this fight. Very intrigued by this fight. You know? I think this could be a must-see fight if you ask me. That's my opinion. I'm also a big Loma guy, so that's also partially there. Thoughts on Edgar Berlanga? He's a hard-hitting kid. I mean, power in both hands. I don't know if he'll evolve enough to be something really special. The big thing when they're as young as he is, I don't want to ever say they can't be, because you just never know with guys, you know? If you looked at early Lopez, I would have said the same thing. You know, early Tio Lopez, I would have been like, I don't know if he could really evolve to something special. You know, and he showed progress. So he's more than just a hard puncher. Berlanga's last fight. Oh, thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate it. The real Karl Marx. So I think Berlanga should be on everyone's radar. I heard people call him the light, you know, like he's a lighter version of Deontay Wilder. I've heard people say that kind of stuff. I don't know. I want to see him step up, and the more he steps up, the better. The fact he's on this card on Saturday is phenomenal. This is one of the best boxing cards I've seen in so long. Like, the amount of quality on this boxing card is out of control. I'm super pumped for Jared Anderson. I really want to see Jared Anderson go in there. I mean, do some serious work. Konaki versus Helenius. Konaki, I think, is going to get his revenge. He shouldn't have lost the first fight. Helenius has always been, you know, he's always been he's been a gatekeeper for a long time. You know, he's not. Yeah, Robert Helenius is fighting. Yeah, Shrek. He's fighting Kalnacki. They're having the rematch. I mean, the amount of heavyweights, big heavyweights on this card is unreal. J-Rock's going to be on this. I mean, there's just so many good fights on this card. Why I'm probably going to buy it. So, yeah, I think overall, this is a great fight. Oh, we're going to get to Virgil. We're actually going to talk about Virgil, and we have some really good news for Virgil. Oh, I love Virgil Ortiz. Him and Boots are my top two prospects, you know? So this is good news for the lightweight division. The fact we're having any movement in the lightweight division with all these guys is big news. Where Devin Haney's what he's gonna do eventually, I don't know yet. We still have to wait. And then this is the other biggest problem. And nothing's set on this. It's just like, what's going on? This is a complete disaster right now. And the fact that Lopez had so much juice going for him after that win on Loma. I mean, I think if Ben Askren boxed Virgil, it would be a close fight. Maybe too close to call. Exactly, Minnie. It's official now. DAZN is going to be showing the fight. They've officially gotten the rights to it, because the thing is with the purse bids on this fight, Top Rank had 1.3 million. Eddie Hearn had 2.6, I believe, 2.5. And then Triller came in with $6 million. So yeah, I'm glad this is actually getting done. Kambosos, I'm not a big fan. I don't think he's going to give a ton of issues to Lopez if Lopez goes in there and does what he's supposed to do. That said, how long has it been since Lopez has been in the ring? How long has it been since Lopez has been in the ring? That's a long time. For such a young fighter, it probably won't mean as much because Lopez is so young. You know, But it is still a big deal, the fact he hasn't been competing. And it does mean that things can happen. We've seen it. Junior Fa versus Joseph Parker, example. That's my example. Junior Fa, if you ask me, Junior Fa had zero chance against Joseph Parker. And I literally said in my video leading into that, Joseph Parker has been out of the ring and has a lot of ring rust. I think this is going to be an ugly fight. It's not going to be a decisive fight. It's going to be an ugly fight. And the same thing could happen here. Artie, what's going on, man? This could be an ugly fight, you know? So that's what I think could happen here. I'm not saying that I'm going to doubt Lopez. I'm absolutely, if I had to put any money on down, it would be a Lopez, no question. But instead of a knockout, it might be a decision. That kind of thing. You know, that's what could happen in this fight that I would not anticipate, you know? So I'm excited about this. I'm very curious to see, you know, it being on DAZN is going to be kind of weird. I'm just so used to Tim Bradley and, you know, Andre Ward talking about Lopez and stuff like that. So I'm curious. It's kind of big. I'm not a big, DAZN's fine for the platform. I don't love their commentary team, but you know, no official date, but they do have the poster for it and a video. Okay. You have to wake up at like 5 a.m. to watch the fight. Oh my gosh. Okay. So that's what we got going on there. Let's move on next weight class. I believe that's all we have for lightweight this week. Yeah, that's all we have for lightweight. So let's move up and weight. And this to me is a absolute fight that I am jazzed for. If this fight happens, I mean, out of control excitement. I'm doing good, RD. Especially with a big fight this weekend. Vergil Ortiz is targeting Ugas for a fight. Devin, I personally have Fury winning. That's how I am leaning right now. I have a whole video on my YouTube channel. If you want to see my full breakdown, I think the fight's closer than people think. So, Vergil Ortiz is targeting Ugas. This right here. I knew, Shrek, you were going to like this one. I knew this was right up Shrek's alley. Exactly, Minnie. Avenging Manny for sure. This right here could be an incredible fight. Ugas showed he can go to different levels in the last fight against Manny Pacquiao. Granted, Manny didn't look like Manny, but Vergil Ortiz isn't a perfect fighter yet. He has a little bit of flaws, you know? Oh, thank you so much for subscribing, man. I appreciate that. Ortiz can be hit. That's the thing we've learned about Ortiz. He's not perfect. He can be hit. He has a good chin, you know? RD, so far we talked about the fact that Tank's going to be fighting Rolly. We've talked a little bit about Loma fighting Comey. And now we're talking about Ortiz here going in there against Ugas, which I think, honestly, this is a great step. This is the perfect step for Vergil Ortiz. Because they were talking all this stuff about, you know, Vergil Ortiz fighting Crawford. That's a dangerous fight. That's a dangerous fight for such a young guy. But Vergil Ortiz versus Ugas, that's like just that nice next step, and there's a belt involved. Like, I think that's perfect, man. You know, he does. I agree. He opens up a little too much. His defense is not quite there. Boots Ennis, that's why I have Boots Ennis just like slightly above Vergil as contender at this weight class, is because Boots' defense is just that much better. So I love Vergil, though. I'm a huge Vergil Ortiz fan. Go check out that video on my channel. You hear me gush about this kid. Crawford is too high of a level. I agree. You know, I think this is the perfect level for this kid. And I think, you know what? When he does win, because I think he will win, he beats Ugas and he gets that belt, there's no more ducking the kid. You can't say that he doesn't have a belt. You can't say he doesn't have a belt anymore. So, you know, That's what makes this a great fight for him. I'm excited to see what Boots has been talking a lot about what he's planning on. You know, I'm excited to see what's going on there. Bob Arum, Mike Carpenter fight yet? Bob would smoke him, yeah, of course. So this is a huge step up, big news if you ask me for such a high level, toted, contender in that 147 weight class. I mean, that's big. That's a big deal. So moving up to middleweight, talking about one of my least favorite fighters. One of my least favorite fighters, but I give him due. I got to talk about him. That's Boo Boo against Jason Quigley. I have like zero interest in this fight. I have like zero interest in Boo Boo fighting Quigley. Like, it's just kind of I guess he's just trying to stay busy. I don't understand this at all. Like, there's people around. 67,000 pay-per-view buys. Yeah, I mean, this one they might just give away for free for all we know. This might just be on like ESPN Plus or no, it's on DAZN. So no, never mind. Take that back. But I mean, Boo Boo is sitting around with his belt, crying, and all his fans are saying everyone's ducking him. You're fighting. I mean, your last fight was a nobody. Your next fight is a nobody. Your last fight before your last fight was a nobody. He just doesn't get me excited. And yeah, Charlo's sitting there. Devchenko's sitting there. Devchenko is sitting there. And now actually, hold on, let me make sure I got this bit of news too. I actually found out. Speaking of great, interesting fights going on at middleweight, maybe not the most interesting fight in the world, but a good fight, like a really solid fight. The kind of fight that you're like, okay, this is like the proper level. Oh, did I not get it? And maybe I didn't. But they're talking about they're going to have a press conference for Jaime Munguia versus Gabe Rosario. Perfect fight. Perfect fight. That's exactly what we need to see. Boo Boo is doo-doo. Hey, what's going on, Jay, man? Oh, man. I mean, Quigley is just... I don't get it. I don't get this fight. But yeah, Jaime Munguia versus Gabe Rosario is like a... Yes, sign me up for that fight. Sign me up for that fight. After that knockout from Gabe, hell yes. Hell yes. The WBA has ordered a 4-man tournament at welter, and Ortiz wasn't invited. Oh, that's brutal. Are you doing another 10, 12-hour stream Saturday? Hell no, I am not doing a 12-hour stream. Not another 12-hour. 12-hour streams are very rare for me. I've done 2 of them so far. That's not something I do on the normal. The Liam Smith fight. This is what I'll say about Liam Smith fight. And this is basically what I got to say about it. Total. Liam Smith could be an absolute hero on Saturday. If he beats Fowler and especially if he knocks him out, he will become an uncrowned hero in the boxing community. I don't know the complete amount of hatred for Anthony Fowler as much as there is, but there's an insane amount of hatred for him. The hatred is pretty palatable. Pretty palatable when you look at the entire amount of people that just do not like him. And it's not like a little bit, they really don't like him. So, not surprised. So, Mini, I did was it? Oh, the 6th. Okay, the 3rd. So yeah, I did it a 9-hour or something like that last time. I can't remember what I did last time. So if he wins, it's a huge, huge, big bonus right there. Like, he will become an unsung hero for that. Oh, I know it's in Liverpool. So, you know. Oh, that's right, Minnie. That's right. That's right. I forgot to hit the off button because my wife texted me and I went upstairs. So Boo Boo's fighting. I don't know if anyone really cares other than his fan base. And Chris Mannix. Chris Mannix is absolutely over the moon about this. I think I've told some of you, I don't know if I've told all of you, there's this great tweet someone had where they faked a tweet from Chris Mannix saying that, quote unquote, that Boo Boo could beat Marvin Hagler. And a lot of people were like, this seems too real, like something he'd actually say. Oh, Ted Cheeseman. Ted Cheeseman. I'll say this about Ted Cheeseman. He's another one of those. He gets a lot of his defensive skills. I've heard he learned a lot of his defensive skills from Joe Joyce. I heard I got a lot of his defensive skills from Joe Joyce where he just blocks with his face. And Ted Cheeseman is a tough, tough man. Tough man. So I'll say that. So, yeah. I mean, the game fight is at least entertaining. I'm interested in that. And so, moving on, keeping it around the same weight class. I don't know how much I believe this and I don't believe this. And, Abel Sanchez, I get him saying this. But let's just be honest about Triple G at this point. He's declined. His skills have declined. I love Triple G, by the way. So this is no hate towards Triple G. He just doesn't look the same anymore. And so, considering Canelo's basically just fighting people that have belts that he feels like will give him, that next level of greatness, I don't see a third fight either. Now, I have kind of two thoughts on it. One, I actually think it's good for Triple G's health. Like, this is a good thing for Triple G's health. I love Triple G, but he takes a lot of punishment in those Canelo fights. The second Canelo fight, it was just like, wow, this is a war right now. So, based off his age and the way his career trajectory is going, he's fighting in Japan in December. I think after that, he should have some real serious conversations about his next moves. Because you're 40, dude. Like, you're I believe he turned 39 this year. You're basically 40. And if you don't want to end up like a Vander Holyfield, where you seem so punch drunk and just like you look like you've taken a beating your entire career, start thinking about it. Start thinking about wrapping things up. And guess what? Triple G, I think, could have a good career as a trainer. Could you imagine Triple G could you imagine Triple G as a trainer? He'd be a phenomenal trainer. RD, I agree with that. The one thing I'll say about Canelo is there's already talks. I think there's some very solid fights for him to have at light heavyweight. Solid fights. Bivol didn't look great in his last fight. But Turbiev, we're about to see how he looks in this next fight. He hasn't fought in a long time either. And he's getting up there in age. He's about 36 years old. Could be interesting. Either one of them. I'd probably go after Bivol personally. So, I agree with Abel Sanchez, but, at the same time, I kind of like, well, been there, done that. I don't know if Canelo really would want that anymore anyways. And if I'm Triple G, would you really want to put Triple G back in there? Personally, I'm kind of saying no, I wouldn't. If I'm a person that's in the Triple G camp, right? I'm saying to him, like, dude, you don't need that anymore. Have some good fights, make some money, call it quits, have some brain cells at the end of the day. You know, you're easy Hall of Famer. You know, you're probably gonna made some decent money. Become a trainer, pass your skills on. That's it. You know. Oh yes, the fact he didn't want to let them do a face-to-face. It's like, come on, Bob. Bob just doesn't want anything to happen to, you know, this fight because he knows it's a huge thing. We're going to talk about Bob, actually. We have some news about Bob other than what happened today. So now we're actually at heavyweight already because there's not a ton of news this week. So I'm sorry about that. But we're going to talk a lot about Wilder Fury. So there's going to be a lot of talk there for that. David Price has officially announced his retirement. This is a good thing. I think Price has done everything he could do at heavyweight. I'm glad he's not trying to stick it out and have another fight. And, you know, I think after, you know, his Dave Allen win, that was solid, you know, and I'm actually glad for that, for David Price. David Price actually seems like a guy that would be really like friendly to have a beer with too, but he just has that personality. He just doesn't seem like he's like that mean of a guy. So this is actually good news. I'm actually happy to see him retiring. You know? Oh, I know. I know. Exactly. That's pretty much what I saw at the press conference, and then I took my son for a walk instead of waiting around for the entire thing. Okay, next. Staying in heavyweight. Abdo being the MC. I thought she did okay. You know. But at the same time, you know, she forgot that she said to Tyson Fury at one point, what's it like to be the only one of these big heavyweights with a belt that's undefeated? And then Tyson Fury had to point out to her that Usyk is also undefeated and that he's a heavyweight champion. And I was just like, fucking duh. Like, duh. Come on, man. You know? That's a good point. Triple G. Yeah, I think I'm glad Triple G's making money right now, especially in that fight, because I think that'll be a fun fight for him. So, like, that was one of the funniest moments in that whole presser. I thought she did a fine job. I don't mind her too much. You know, she seems to like do a fine job overall. It's not bad to look at. But, you know, it was just like she also kept everything moving along. It was fairly decently, which is not easy to do when you're dealing with Wilder and Fury, especially Fury. Fury can go on. Fury can go on for quite a bit. So she did. So I thought she did a decent job. So let's talk about Bob Arum. You're this close of not simping? Is that what you're talking about? She did terrible. I mean, I thought she did fine. I mean, better than some of the times I see Chris Mannix do anything. You know, it's so like, okay, I'm okay with this. Hey, I'm glad they didn't have freaking Max Kellerman there. So that's one thing I was like, okay. Thank God it's not Max Kellerman. Okay. I think this is funny because this is like classic Bob Arum. Like, this is a classic like thing he would actually say. And it's like he recommends Anthony Joshua just steps aside. It just steps aside and just lets Fury fight Usyk. And I'm just like, Bobby. It's not gonna happen. Like, AJ's already signed. He's literally already signed the rematch clause. He's not stepping aside, because the problem with your idea, Bob, is that you're thinking that Joshua wants to wait around. Like, you're acting like he wants to wait around. Like, why would he want to wait around? At all. Because if he doesn't take the rematch, we've already talked about this a few times, but if he doesn't take the rematch, right? What ends up happening is AJ now misses out the rematch. Okay, so Wilder Fury happens this weekend. Then let's say Fury and Usyk fight February, March timeframe, you know. Then they're going to have a rematch, which will probably be in the summertime. And then neither one of them are going to fight until the beginning of 2023. That's how long AJ would have to wait. Like, it's just not, it's not going to happen. There's no way Eddie Hearn is going to go, yeah, you know what, Bob? You're 100% right. We're going to let AJ sit on the back burner for like 18 months. No big deal. We'll just have him fight cab drivers here in London for a little bit. Just keeping him fresh. No big deal. No big. You go get your bag, Bobby. No big deal. And I'm just like, come on, man. Like, I don't know. I just don't know how much longer Bob Arum can really be a part of boxing. Like, he like, to your comments, you're calling her a broad. Oh my God. Like Bob is just so old. Like, someone needs to step in and be like, Bob, you can go to the fights. You can't go to press conferences anymore. You can't talk to media anymore. Like, we just, Bobby, it's over. It's over, man. Like, him being a part of boxing still is, it's just not right anymore. So, yeah. I think this is, and I'll also point out, this is not the first time Bob just spoke his mind and someone just had a microphone in front of him. Do we all remember what he said about Terrence Crawford, his own fighter? Where he went off talking about how he doesn't want to lose money on him and all this. He badmouthed his own fighter. Like, you know. And that's not the first time he's done that either. Like, he's kind of terrible at his job right now. So, Bob's done a lot for the sport, but please, somebody step in and just, like, you know. All right, next. And it was brought up in chat. I think Karl Marx brought it up in chat. Fury offers to train AJ for the rematch. You know. I honestly don't believe. I think AJ's technically still top 5. Because I would probably put him top 5 still. Because you'd probably put Usyk and Fury 1, 2, right? Wilder currently up in the top 3-ish, right? Then I'd probably go AJ, you know, somewhere there. And then Dillian White's picking up the rear at number 5. So, just because AJ's losses were actually to solid boxers, you know. And White lost to a 40-year-old Povetkin, which was a phenomenal knockout, though. But yeah, he's definitely not in the, you know, you can have the conversation where he is, especially after this fight we have this weekend. Because let's say Wilder loses, right? Wilder's 2 losses are to one of the top level guys. I mean, you know, where you want to put them. We can have a whole conversation about that. I like Minnie's list the best. It reminds me of that Dave Chappelle skit. Dylon. Ruiz is a solid boxer. He opens up too much and lets himself get hit too easily, though. We saw that in the Chris Arreola fight. But he's a solid guy. I mean, he's definitely top 10, easy top 10 guy. Problem with Ruiz is that obviously he had some training issues and staying in weight issues, but he's a skilled boxer. So I feel like everyone gives Bob a pass because he's old. Yeah. Oh yeah. He's been rocking that old man pass for a while. He needs to retire already. He's hurting the sport more than he's helping at this point. Yeah. Jay, I agree with that. So I don't know. I think that anytime Fury reaches out and is like, I'll help out Joshua, I don't mind helping that. I don't know if Fury's just doing that to kind of be nice. Like, but I don't really think he actually wants to help out Joshua. I don't think he actually really wants to help him out. Oh, JT, what's going on, man? I know. And guys, I know I'm milking it right now, but we are going to look at the new Deontay Wilder outfit. It's crazy. The real Karl Marx showed me this. So in the Discord. So we are going to look at we're absolutely going to look at the full outfit of Deontay Wilder, which looks awesome, by the way. It's by far the coolest outfit I've ever seen in my life when it comes to a boxer. Easy. So, you see that Fury says that he's going to make Tommy Fury retire and change his name if he loses to Jake Paul. I did. I think Shrek might have brought that up, or Minnie brought that up in the Discord. I think that's hilarious. The double down and said if Fury wins, he gets an extra $500K. If he loses, he has to change his name to Tommy Fumbles. Oh my gosh. That's amazing. Oh my gosh. And I think that's oh my god, that's funny, man. That's right, Minnie, you did say that. And Shrek, I don't know what you're doing, why you aren't on Discord yet. Fury does this whole nice guy thing anytime Joshua loses. And I think part of that is that he realizes that his fan base is somewhat intertwined with Joshua's fan base, and that it'd probably be a good idea to be like kind of nice and kind of like cordial about stuff, because he did the same thing after the Ruiz loss. You know, I know, JT, I agree. Well, Fury has 30 days to agree to fight White. Thank God. I'm not even the biggest Dillian White fan, but he deserves it, man. He absolutely deserves it. You know? I mean, absolutely has to. What's going on, Klotz? So, I don't know if I believe Fury on this. I don't. I think he's just trying to be nice. Remember when he said he would like go over and like spar with him or something like that? He's done it a few times. He's done these, like, we got one more story and then we're going to go straight into the Wilder suit, which is the coolest suit I've ever seen in boxing. So, I think that I don't have to tell any of you guys that are fairly in the know when it comes to boxing on this is, you know, this idea that Tyson Fury reveals tactics for Deontay Wilder. I mean, honestly, it's probably 150 pounds. You know, I literally predicted this in my video on YouTube. This is exactly what I said. Because this whole being on the back foot, trying to be just a defensive boxer the whole time, it's just bad tactics. And actually, Fury admitted that after the first fight. He said this was a bad idea, trying to be a defensive fighter the whole time against Deontay Wilder. Because Wilder, the more... We're going into the whole Wilder Fury thing, okay? Which, if you haven't seen my video on YouTube, go give it some love. I worked really hard on that video. It was a lot of fun to make, but it was brutal. This is the tactic I believe that Fury is being honest about. And making Wilder go backwards is a good strategy. Oh, thank you, Shrek. Making Wilder go backwards is the best thing you can do. And I'll tell you why. There's all this new stuff. The big thing we're hearing from, Malik Scott is he's a different fighter. We're utilizing different tools he already has. Yada, yada, yada. All this stuff like that. Look at every single video you see of Wilder in training. Do you ever see him going backwards or practicing on the back foot? He never does that. He comes forward, he hits pads, he does body work, whatever. He doesn't practice fighting off the back foot. It's his biggest weakness, honestly. And setting traps and being able to do that and be patient is hard. It's really hard. When you're someone that just needs that one punch, it's really hard. So, to me, this idea of Tyson Fury going forward and being aggressive, I think is his tactic, because basically you have two things you can do. You can either try to extend the fight a full 12 rounds and go the distance with Wilder, which is dangerous, or you try to pressure him, which is also dangerous. But at least with Wilder, he doesn't hide his punches. Wilder telegraphs his punches pretty easily. Generally speaking. He doesn't hide them. He will throw his jab out. You'll see him throw his jab out to block. His left hand will go out to block and then have his right hand follow right afterwards, which can be kind of a tactic to hide that right hand. But generally speaking, Wilder's a pretty open book on what he's going to throw and when he's going to throw it. So to me, this is so you have to pick one of two poisons. Either you try to go in there and get him out, or you try to wait 12 rounds, which is, to me, the tireder you get, the more tired you get, the more mistakes you're going to make. JT, he'll never get, we were just talking about that. He's not going to get in trouble. Or he said to her. Because he's just going to play the old card. I'm old. I say what I want. He should. I mean, I think, honestly, we were talking about the fact that he shouldn't be allowed doing what he's doing anymore, promoting fights anymore, but, that's my opinion. So this idea of tactic of going forward, it's absolutely what Fury should do. It's dangerous, though. It is dangerous. Because you screw up once. That's the one thing, and that's what I cannot stress this enough with Wilder. Anyone that is counting Wilder out of this fight, I disagree with you. I will say that if you think that, if anyone wants to make the case that Wilder's changed his stripes and he's totally changed as a person and he's a different boxer, I disagree with that completely. I don't buy into any of that garbage. In my video for this fight, I literally said, if I'm Deontay Wilder's trainer, I'm not changing him. I'm enhancing him. I'm enhancing what he has, and I'm looking at body work, and we're making game plans for both versions of Fury, which is more defensive fighter or the more aggressive fighter. Fury got completely went through the roof in terms of what his game plan was. Like, it was such a mental side of it that was so smart of going after Wilder in the second fight. I didn't see that coming at all. I thought he was going to try to outbox him again and just go around the ring and just use his size and everything to just make Wilder frustrated. Instead, he was like, screw this. I'm just going to go straight at you. Totally didn't see that coming. So I think you can't surprise Wilder this time with that tactic, which makes it a little bit more dangerous. You guys ready to see the Wilder suit, by the way? Well, White might lose to, I would favor White, but you never know with Dillian White. Wilder will catch him with a big punch and win. I mean, look, Jim, it's one of the weirdest things for me because this fight's so weird. I remember the whole process that Tyson Fury went through to get back into boxing. And I was like a huge Tyson Fury fan, rooting for this guy because of his whole story and everything. It was so positive. And I'm like, I want this guy to win. And then the first fight happened and I was rooting for Tyson Fury nonstop. Like, I want him to win. I want him to win. I want him to win. And we got the draw. I think Fury won. Then the second fight happened, and I was kind of like, this is kind of interesting because I think Wilder might change things up a little bit. And Fury was the one that changed things up, and I was like, wow, man, that's amazing. I'm super still in kind of Tyson Fury's camp and everything. And then Tyson Fury kind of annoyed the hell out of me. Like, I've kind of like backed off of Tyson Fury in terms of the fandom. Actually, I take that back. After the first fight, I was like, okay, great. Let's have the second fight. Then they had the Tom Schwartz fight and the Otto Wallin fight, which should have never happened. And I will give actually Wilder credit. Wilder had the much tougher fighters out of that 2-fight in between layoff between them fighting each other. Wilder actually, I mean, as we know now, Wallin actually beat Dominic Breazeale, so there's argument to be there. But Tom Schwartz should have never been in the ring with freaking Tyson Fury. Tom Schwartz wasn't even ranked in the top 80 as a heavyweight. Like, there was no reason. There was no reason. And so I was just like, this is nonsense. So I kind of like lost a little bit. And then after the second fight, I was like kind of back on the Fury train. And now I'm kind of sitting there like going, I don't know, man. Like, Fury's kind of just annoyed the hell out of me a little bit. And I'm kind of, in a way, I'm kind of rooting for Wilder. Just because I'm kind of like, if he gets the revenge, like, it's kind of an amazing story. And so, like, in a way, I'm kind of rooting for Wilder. I think Fury would be better for boxing because Usyk versus, I think, Fury is a much more interesting fight. But, I mean, Wilder has grown on me quite a bit. Yes, exactly, Shrek. May through October, pretty much. Basically that. Exactly. Jay, you had a question, or you had a comment. Did you hear about Wilder saying that Malik Scott has not taught him anything? I didn't hear that. I know that he feels like this with Malik, though, which is good. And I said in my YouTube video that it's, you know, a motivated fighter is a dangerous fighter. So, yeah, I think it's a good thing that he's motivated by Malik Scott. Whether or not that means anything in the end, I don't know. And, I mean, there's a lot to learn when it comes to Wilder. Wilder has a lot to learn still. They paid an organization. I know, I saw that. Exactly. I think they said he was like top 4 for like the WBO or something. Like, it was something ridiculous. It was so ridiculous. You know? Wilder's great when he doesn't talk. And he just knocks people out. So, okay, let me get to the suit. All right. Because this suit is by far the greatest thing I've seen anyone put together. I mean, it's super impressive. Holy crap, it's big. Let me get the screen, I'll set it up. But this is probably the most impressive thing I've ever seen. I think he went to the same suit designer he's been using. So they know him, they know his dimensions to kind of save time on everything. But this suit is absolutely incredible. Like, it's just amazing in terms of what they put together. I don't know if I'll put on audio. It doesn't really matter all that much. The audio does not matter. Actually, I can actually shrink this down a little so you can just get just the suit even bigger. Okay, here's the suit. I have never seen a suit like this.
Oh, let's go. That's right. Take it to the club.
I'll definitely wear it to the club. Okay, guys.
Gonna bring it fast and couture to the fight world and more.
You're going to have about 40, I know, 4,000. GT, I bet we'll have probably close to 20,000 people stop by.
Right?
This is crazy. I'm going to show it up, play it again. I've never seen anything like this. This is insane.
Come on, let's go. Take it to the club.
I mean, hopefully it's a bit lighter, but like this is.
Okay, guys.
This is. Look at that.
To the fight world
That is wild, guys. Like, the lasers, they have to have the strength of the lasers to do that, to make it look like that.
Shaq is gonna be bombed, right?
And, I mean, that has to be light. Or is that, no, that's acrylic. I take that back. I think I take that back. So that's actual acrylic. You know how I know it's acrylic? I know that's acrylic for a fact because acrylic, if you don't know, is a natural light tube. And I learned that in school when we'd build stuff. So there's what they're using is they're using diodes that then hit a acrylic tube to make it look like lasers. Because to have lasers do that kind of stuff, yeah, that's
Come
acrylic.
on, let's go. Take it to the club.
I'll definitely wear it to the club. Okay, guys.
Yeah, that's acrylic.
To the fight world and more.
Because you can tell when he moves, it looks like it's a solid piece.
Shaq
I would also point out that if that was actual lasers, if he lifted up his arm, especially being 6'7", he could blind someone in the crowd easily with that. Like, that's not, like, think about it. A laser pointer can blind someone. If you had lasers that strong that could do a beam like that, if you hit anyone's eyes, it would immediately blind them or burn them.
is gonna be bombed, right?
It looks, it's very cool though. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm almost positive that is not actual lasers doing that. So, it looks very cool. I mean, you can say anything you want about Wilder. You can call him whatever you want. The man has a certain sense of taste in his outfits. They are pretty insane. I mean, his outfits are absolutely, I mean, they're gorgeous, really. They're designed incredibly well. So I know that, you know, people are, I mean, obviously looking, actually, if you look at these drawings of it, I'll show you the quick drawings of them. If you look at this drawing, it looks like he has similar kind of shoulder pads, kind of a mask going on, his gloves going on, maybe something that goes around the forearms, but this looks like all cloth right here, right where his kind of waist is and everything. And then kind of maybe it's just like a chest plate and shoulder pads. And then the rest is cloth from the look of it. Just kind of look like reading the sketch a little bit. But pretty wild. You know? Pretty wild of an outfit. I just don't know if it's, I gotta say it one more time. It will be lasers, bro. If it looks that good because of the smoke, I don't know, man. Oh, absolutely, I can pull up the outfit again. We're gonna watch it one more time. I don't think it's laser. I think it's actual acrylic. I think that's acrylic rods. Because the reason I say that is, even with you can see like the light hitting the wall and stuff like that, that would happen with acrylic because the lights go all the way through the entire tube. So, yeah, that's wild, man. I know. I have to agree with that. It's kind of a villain versus a king. Yeah. I don't know, man. We'll find out on Saturday exactly what's going on. Maybe you're right. Maybe it is lights, and with the smoke and everything, it's a different thing. But I thought for sure it looked just because of how everything looked. But I could be wrong. I will say Wilder has great outfits. Did I buy the pay-per-view? I'm most likely buying the pay-per-view because that undercard's just insane. So I just have to wonder though, like, with if it was lasers, let's say it's lasers, right? How do you deal with that if it hits someone. Because that could like seriously injure someone, right? Like lasers like that are that intense. I don't know. I don't know, man. I will say this. The people that Wilder are the people that Wilder are working with are excellent at what they do. You know? So, I mean, they're doing a phenomenal job on this. And people are going to talk about it. Hopefully, if he wins. Right, Jim. And so the thing is, I'm thinking like even laser pointers, right? Like laser pointers to get the effect like this, like I believe is being brought up by RD. Like you need smoke. You need to be really dark to see a laser pointer, right? And laser pointers can blind people. So that's why I'm thinking maybe it's acrylic. Like it's acrylic rods to like simulate it. I don't know. How much do you think this costs? That's a great question. I have no idea. You know? Is the stream on Discord, OG, pay-per-view, or is it going to... it'll probably be pay-per-view. I mean, the card's so good, I'll probably buy it. But I have to be honest with you guys. You guys need to know, as I've talked about, on the Discord, if oh, interesting. But Shrek just think. So the big deal is in Discord, we have now 2 different live streams. We have a wide open one for everyone, and then we have a verified one. The verified one will be in 720p. The other open one in Discord most likely would be like 480 because of bandwidth and everything else that I'm trying to pump out. If the fight ends up, let's say everything in Discord starts going real wrong for everybody, the verified stream will be the one that continues, and I'll shut down the other one if I have to. Because verified people are the people that are constantly in chat, constantly engaging with the community. The other people can go to the sources that we've given in Discord for links. Because we have a whole links channel in Discord. Literally free stream fight links. So people can go get their own kind of stuff set up. You are Mini, aren't you? I thought for sure you're verified. So, and if you need to, I mean, you should know if you're verified or not. Verified isn't like an immediate thing. There's a whole thing on like rules and info about how to be verified. So, Mini, let me double check. I thought you for sure were verified. Oh, no, you're verified. You're definitely verified. So, why are we not talking about him doing this again? So when he loses, he can say that he's too heavy again. I know, man. That's the funny part, man. I do think there will be some excuses if he loses again. I think it's really tough for him in general. The second fight, I think, was brutal for him. Because I think in his mind, he felt like he could win. Or that he could still be in the fight. I think that it was a good stoppage. I think it was smart of his corner. You know? Oh, you can find Discord. Discord, let me double check. Discord is in the description right now of the video, actually. So you can click on Discord and join that way. So that's kind of like the whole situation for it for Saturday. So the trainer was disloyal. Oh my God, dude. When that came out, that Mark Breland too had been with Wilder since the beginning. That was the worst part. That was the big betrayal. You know? I would be very curious to see how Wilder would do against someone like Usyk. And I obviously would love to see Wilder fight AJ. I think that'd be a fun fight. Especially with the way AJ fights now. He's much more careful about stuff. Deontay Wilder, Sue's mother claims tainted breath caused skinny legs. Hold on. Shrek, what the hell are you sending me right now? This is, wait, I gotta find the proper source. This is too funny, man. Oh my god. Do you think he's getting battered like in the second fight? I don't think he's gonna get battered as much. I think Wilder got completely taken off guard the second fight. I think he'll be a little bit more wise to it, everything. You know? Varys, I read your previous chat. Go look at the rules in the Discord for how to get verified. So, I think he got caught off guard the second fight. I think he'd be more wise to it. It'll be interesting. Ugh. 3 rounds with him to prove themselves. I would not want to spar. I know people say that, you know, Wilder doesn't have skills, or they want to say like, you know, this, that, and the other thing about him. I don't know about you. I still would not want to spar Wilder for even 1 round. I mean, oh, so RD, I want to actually prove something really quick. Exactly what you're talking about. This is the hard part I have with people that talk about this. Let's talk about this whole idea, right? I don't know how many of you have boxing gloves laying around, or have worn boxing gloves, right? I happen to have a couple laying around. So, when you wear a boxing glove, right? And these, mind you, aren't even wrapped with tape around my arms. Okay? You see how that fits around my forearm, right? Imagine if this is taped. Even more so, right? If this was taped around my forearm, imagine how tight that would be, right? Now, let me show you what people are claiming and how this looks on my hand. I'll do a close-up even. See that? A little bit of gappage right there. This is, you know. Now let me move my hand down to the area. If I were to move my hand down here, look at how that looks on my wrist. Look at how that looks. And I'm sorry. Like, you would look at the gappage there, man. Like, you would notice it. You would notice it immediately. It's not even a question. I'll even use my other sparring gloves right here. These are much more intense, even bigger wrists, everything. That's wrapped like that. Look at the gappage you have here, right? Now let me move my hand down. Even if you had it right here, look at the gaps you have on the glove and the bottom of the glove. I'm sorry. I just don't believe it. I just don't believe it. It's one of the few things I just don't believe in. He came out of nowhere to win the national tournament. Yeah. Go to the Olympics and then the medal. Only fighter I think, yeah, comes close is George Foreman. I think the big thing with Wilder is this. And I, like I said, for a long time was not the biggest Wilder fan. You guys right over here. I was not the biggest Wilder fan for a long time. And I think some people don't like Wilder because, number one, when he opens his mouth, he's not someone that could be as elegant about what he says like a Tyson Fury. Or he's not as trained as someone like a Josh. I mean, Josh is very careful about what he says, generally speaking. Very careful about what he says. And it's very much planned. Wilder just kind of says whatever he wants to say. So, it comes out, yeah. You know, it's kind of like, not great. Not great. And so some people have that to say about him. A lot of people will point to Wilder's resume. You know? Leon Edwards. I mean, gloves. After beating George Foreman? What? I mean, the thing is with like, I think that's a huge part of it is that people just don't like Wilder because of what he says, the way he talks. You know, I don't know enough about Leon Edwards, to be honest with you, RD, to compare the two. I've seen him before. I've definitely seen him before. I just don't know enough about MMA to compare the two enough. That Minnie would know a lot better, man. Minnie would know for sure. You know? I would also say that Wilder didn't help himself by saying, like, hey, you know, I want a body on my record. Kind of was, like, not the classiest thing to say. So, that's my big thing. Like, people criticize his resume. Granted, I mean, it's not like Fury has an amazing resume either. The thing with Fury is he has that huge Klitschko win, which he holds. You see Klitschko, that Klitschko win for Fury is like his like safety blanket. You beat a 40-year-old Klitschko, you know. Granted, you did well. It was a really boring fight. I don't know how many of you have actually watched it. It's a boring fight. But, you know, it's one of those things. Captain, what's going on, man? Good to see you in the chat. So, yeah. I move the chat over here because you guys can see it better with that wall. And I'll just move farther over here. So, yeah. That's a big thing. Just find him annoying, disrespecting people like Mike Tyson, Ali, yeah, acting like he's good. Yeah. I mean, there's a certain cockiness to Wilder for sure that is off-putting to some people, and I get it. You know, I totally get it. You know? So, if Tyson loses to Deontay and Tommy loses to Jake, then they're dead. That's hilarious, man. That is funny. I agree with you on that one. That would be really funny. I think the fact that, so let's talk about, just in case, man, just in case, you know, if just in case somehow Wilder gets a big KO, let's say, right? Then where does it all go from here? Because there's no fourth fight. No, there should not be a fourth fight. That's true. If I was 40-0 and all by knockout, I would be pretty cocky too. Yeah. I mean, when you talk about a hard-hitting fighter, Deontay Wilder is one of the hardest-hitting fighters in boxing history. So there is that. I'll agree on one thing, that we just want this Fury Wilder thing to be done. Yeah. I agree. Absolutely agree. Like, it just needs to be over. And we need to move on. The whole thing needs to move on. We need to move on from all this stuff and get more into Usyk, AJ, you know, seeing how they match up with these two guys. Because I'm sick and tired of Fury, Wilder. We already know what's going on. You know. Oh, yeah. Oh, can't wait for Boots. Yeah, I don't believe he has an opponent yet, but I'm still excited. He's talking about fighting soon. If Wilder wins, we have to go through this all over again. I don't think so. I think if I'm Wilder, you know what? My favorite topic on this has been, if Wilder wins, I think Wilder goes on the Gary Russell plan. Goes on Gary Russell and just fights once a year and, and is just done with it. And I think he just kind of slow rolls every other fight. You know who I think he fights, actually, Shrek? I think he fights Adam Kalsnacki. I think he goes after Adam Kalnacki. I think he goes after guys that he feels really confident about. I don't see him, you know. What is this? Who is Shrek? Shrek is the Conor McGregor 69. His name when he first started was Shrek versus Mike Tyson. Now he uses Trovo, hence the green logo next to his name, and that's why you keep hearing me call him Shrek. I'm not a religious individual, but I think there might be something wrong with this one. Vaughn, what's going on? Vaughn, what'd you think of that suit, huh? By the way, guys, if you don't follow Vaughn, go follow Vaughn. Fantastic channel. And he's super, super close to hitting 100 subs. So, let me throw that in the chat really quick, actually. So, go follow Vaughn, man. But, you know, I think if Wilder wins, I think I would actually like to see Wilder versus Joe Joyce. I actually think that'd be a fun fight. I'd actually be very interested in that. That would be kind of interesting. The immovable object versus the absolute dynamite that is Deontay Wilder's hand. So, all right. So that's basically the news for this week. I mean, not a ton going on. Ruiz is talking. Who's Ruiz talking about fighting? We talked about it last week. He's talking about fighting, I believe, in December. Oh, did we talk about him last week? Ruiz is actually getting ready for a fight. Who was he fighting next, though? I don't know if you saw Andy Ruiz's butt cheeks, his latest tattoos, which is gross. He has lost a ton of weight. Andy Ruiz has lost a absolute mountain of weight. He had knee surgery, Jim. So he had knee surgery, and that probably was a reason that he had it. So I think that was smart that getting lean, I think, is good, but I almost wonder if it's too lean. You know? So yeah, his next two opponents, Luis Ortiz, Charles Martin, they've talked about. Some people say he looks too thin afterwards. I think he looks great. Personally, I think Ruiz looks really good. I'll show a quick video of him. I mean, he doesn't even look like the same guy. Here's Ruiz now. I mean, look at his jawline. I mean, it's impressive, the amount of weight. And then here's side. Look at that. I mean, that's That's pretty amazing. I would love Joe Joyce to fight Luis Ortiz, but I mean, I just want Joe Joyce to continue fighting and continue to kind of be in there because I'm not the biggest fan of him. I want to see more of him fight top, higher level guys. So, you know. Oh, you have a good one too, brother. And he could be the Bridgerweight champion. Oh, God. He could. I only say that because I don't like Bridgerweight. But he could absolutely. I mean, looking like this. You know? So, I believe they're talking about... Oh, who are they talking about? There's an actual Bridger fight that is happening. And I'm just like, okay. Advert, can't stop, won't stop. Mars bar advert. Oh, God. We'll end on one of the funniest things that's on the internet. I love this YouTube channel. And Minnie's always good about finding different versions of this. It's absolutely hilarious. So guys, we will be live real quick before I play this. Thank you for all showing up tonight. Awesome night of boxing news. I'm over here. Let me move over here. So, Friday night, Classic Fight Night. We will be live probably around 9 o'clock Eastern Time. I have not picked the fighter that we're going to be doing for Classic Fight Night yet. So if you have a suggestion, let me know. We have it in the Discord. We have a whole section where you can make suggestions of different fighters. Last week we did Marvin Hagler was the dude. You know? So, oh, it was Oscar Rivas. That's right, Jay. That's right. Holyfield, maybe. We could do a Holyfield night. We've watched Holyfield, but we haven't watched just exclusively Holyfield. We could do a heavyweight fight. We could do, I mean, there's tons of people we haven't done yet. I have not decided yet. We've done basically a George, I don't know if we've done a complete George Foreman night. Might be fun to do a George Foreman versus Evander Holyfield to start off the night, and then we'll go from there and see what people want to do. But we're going to watch this video, and then we'll probably wrap things up, but let me get the audio going. Hold on, I got to unmute. Oh, Pernell Whitaker. That's a good one. Do Wilder, bro. Just before he retires. Oh, my God. Well, first of all, I can't do fights that modern. And we don't know. Wilder has a chance. We'll see, RD.
There's only one Deontay Wilder. The Bronze Bomber is back. Bomb Squad. I can't wait. Oh my God. Wiggle.
We are Spartans!
Man, I'm too old for this shit. You can't be doing that to me.
He's the king. No, you are the king. No. You are. They wrote you off.
Data's
they
in
wrote
this.
You off.
Shut your mouth for a smack it in. Continue.
Because he's the king. He's the king. You're the king again. Trust me.
Let's go!
To this day. To this day.
These are so fun. And he comes out these so fast.
My blood is boiling right now. I can barely keep my composure right now.
RD, have a good one, man. Thanks for stopping by.
The outfit that you wore to the ring is why you think you lost this fight?
Oh my God,
That's
Stephen.
just embarrassing. I mean, it's just embarrassing.
Stephen A. Smith. All right.
There's only one.
Dude, to this day is still one of the greatest lines, though. One of the greatest lines. I love it. I love it. So yeah, we'll be live on Friday. We'll do some classic fight night. Get in the Discord if you want to watch this weekend. Big thing, you know. We'll see how it all turns out with dual channels and Discord. I don't know how it's going to work out, but guys, thank you so much for stopping by. And I hope to see you guys on Friday. Have a great evening. And of course, we will be live on Saturday night. It's just going to be an absolute blast. It's going to be an absolute blast. And we're going to have very clear heavyweight champions. Usyk and someone else. We'll see who it is. I don't want to say who it is yet because we just don't know. We just don't know. Have a good one, guys.